So today we are going to start from the absolute beginning. So today we are going to look at the requirements to even run FL Studio and just go over the different things that you may want to take into consideration if you get a new computer, and things that may help your current computer perform a little bit better. So let's go ahead and check that out. So right now I'm using a Mac, but the requirements are a little bit kind of the same. So with the system requirements for Mac, we'll just start there. You need 4 gigabytes of free disk space. So that's just like memory on your computer. And then 4 gigabytes of RAM. So RAM is, let me see, random access memory. So that is the data stored in the RAM can be accessed almost instantly regardless of where in the memory. So the RAM and the CPU, which is like the brain of everything, they essentially talk together. And these two are important because when you are using FL Studio, if you have like huge VSTs, so let's just go in here. So this is where like the CPU load is, and this is where the memory usage is. So this is the RAM, and this is the CPU. Here's a project that I loaded up. You see that it's already at, the load is already at 12. So it's not only the VSTs that you load, but also the effects that you have on all of your tracks when you're mastering and mixing. That also has a effect on your CPU load and your memory load. So I'll just play this and you'll see the load change just slightly. So here we go. So what you are looking at here is essentially all the CPU. Hold on, let me turn off that effect. Where is it? All the CPU that is being used based off of the effect, or in this case, synth is usually considered the VST. So imagine having a huge project with a whole bunch of EQs, reverbs, auto tune, all that stuff on your track, and you'll see that it'll start eating your CPU up. So when getting a computer, that's something you should take into consideration. Both the CPU and the RAM. So I have a i7. So the more so I think there's like an i5 and an i7. So I have Intel, because with Mac, if you get the new one, they just came out with like a M1 Silicon Mac. A lot of the VSTs aren't supported on that due to it being like a custom CPU. So the CPU that I'm using is Intel, and with Windows, that's typically what they use is either Intel or AMD. But those two are like the gold standard of CPUs. So you should have any worries about VSTs not working when you are using a Windows computer. But yeah, so that is something you want to take into consideration before you even before you purchase or download the FL Studio, but you could just download it and see how well it runs on your computer currently, because you can use it as a free trial. But a lot of the times in the past, because I didn't really know a lot about computers, it's because I was having issues with my VSTs loading. And yeah, like back in the day, like when I used to like pirate like Waves bundle and all these different VSTs that cost thousands of dollars, they would destroy my computer because of the RAM and the CPU were trash. But now that I know more and have been doing it for a while, I've learned my lesson. So that's just a few things to take into consideration. And like if you can't afford like the high end or the medium end, there are workarounds that we will go over throughout our journey. So yeah, that's just a quick rundown of the requirements and what you should look out for when downloading the FL Studio onto your computer. So all right, y'all, so let's keep this going. See you in the next one.